More than 4 years after co-founding Facebook, Zuckerberg still seemed uneasy in the public spotlight.
What's your next thing you're going to do? Get bought? No. None of these rumors are true, right?
This is making me feel very uncomfortable.
All right.
By 2009, rumors were indeed swirling that Facebook would go public. Instead, Zuckerberg took money from a new investor. Yuri Milner, CEO of the Russian internet investment firm Digital Sky Technologies, offered a $200 million deal for just 1.9% of the company.
Deals of that size are kind of never easy. There's a lot of back and forth. This deal was about the vision that we shared, how big this company can get. Everything else was sort of secondary.
Milner's investment allowed Facebook to continue to expand, and it kept the development of the company firmly in the hands of its founder. Zuckerberg knew that pushing Facebook advertising even further was the key to continued growth. For years, Zuckerberg believed that Facebook was in a unique position.
Today, even with the most advanced advertising systems that exist, they only have estimates of what someone's gender might be, or what someone's age might be, or what they might be interested in. But on Facebook, we know exactly what gender someone is, and exactly how old they are, and exactly what they're interested in.
Jeremy Smith is Chief Strategy Officer for Second Market, a company that brokers shares in privately held companies which cannot yet be traded on the public market.
What makes Facebook so desirable from the perspective of advertisers is that they are able to accumulate information on their users like nobody else. The funny thing is the users don't really view it as data. It's themselves, it's their information, it's their lives that they're putting on there. But as far as advertisers are concerned, it is the holy grail of data.
Pushing the boundaries of that holy grail of data was about to get Zuckerberg in trouble again. In December 2009, he revamped the privacy settings for Facebook's then 350 million users. Unless users individually restored their settings, previously private information was now available to everyone on the internet.
Many people just sort of took that default and somewhat inadvertently allowed a lot of their information to become public. And many privacy advocates believe that they didn't explain that or disclose it sufficiently.
A firestorm of complaints from users and consumer groups forced Zuckerberg to backtrack again, sparking concerns in Congress.
We are here today to urge Facebook's creator and CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, to revisit this new policy as soon as possible. We believe Facebook should reverse its policy to begin exploring guidelines so users know upfront what's happening.
Adding fuel to the fire was the surfacing of still more instant messages. Business Insider published messages they said showed a friend asking then college-aged Zuckerberg why people shared their emails with him. Zuckerberg's response was curt and profane.
I asked him point blank about it, and he was very embarrassed by the fact that he had sent these IMs.
Less than 1 month later, he was put on the hot seat in a memorably awkward interview at the All Things Digital conference.
Do you feel like you're violating people's privacy?
There were real learning points and turning points along the way in terms of building things. If I knew what I knew now then I hope I wouldn't have made those mistakes, but I can't go back and change the past. I can only do what we think is the right thing going forward.
Anybody who's ever kind of doubted what Facebook is about or want to question his integrity, they can keep pointing back to that, right? To that instance of I can't trust that guy. That is going to be our check on him for as long as he remains CEO, and in charge of that company. It's going to be okay, you're not that guy. Well, prove to us that you're not that guy.
Chris Hufnagel, the director of privacy programs at the University of California, Berkeley, believes Mark Zuckerberg purposefully pushes the envelope on privacy.
In most situations where a company does something that's unpopular, they have blowback. They lose the ability to do something. But in Facebook's case, we have something I call blow forward, where they take 2 steps forward, there's some type of public reaction, and they just take a little step back. And so over time, they've been able to open up profiles more and more.
Mark does not think you should be a different person at work than you are at the bowling alley, in bed, at school. You know, he basically thinks you should be consistent across all these environments. So that's a very radical view for many older people.